Hey, welcome back to What's Up with Mental Health and Everything Else. And of course, tonight I'm your host, Latavia Barmer. And as you can see, we have our first student panel. And we will go around the table and let them introduce themselves.
Hi, my name is Mary Ingram. I'm a freshman, vice president of the BC Majorettes, and my major is psychology.
My name is Jepthaw Derrick, major psychology, junior, and director of my show, Holy Sense.
Great. I'm so glad to have you guys a part of What's Up with Mental Health and Everything Else. Tonight's topic is What's Up with Teenage Fever. And this is just an open discussion. We will talk about, our own experiences with mental health, how's the semester been going, and things of that nature. So, how's everyone feeling?
I'm good, I guess. A little bit.
Outstanding. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it. So, okay, what do you guys know about mental health?
Well, from my understanding, mental health is a very important thing, especially the community. It's all about how you are preserving yourself, what's going on in your head. Like, yes, you have a brain, you can think, but also there are some issues that can linger. There are some things that can make triggers, post-traumatic effects, and anything else. So, those are some things that therapy, counseling are always there to help people to get through these things so they don't have these meltdowns, breakdowns, or even worse.
Absolutely.
I agree with everything that you just said. I feel as though mental health can be very challenging, especially when you're in college and you're in different activities and on-campus involvements and stuff like that. I feel like mental health can be very draining on you, especially with your course load, your family, social life, just trying to balance it all. Something's bound to be left behind.
Absolutely, and that's why we're here tonight to talk about what's up with teenage fever. Because everything you just said is vital to our campus experience, and it shapes us of who we become after we graduate from college, and if we're able to handle the real world. So, apart from mental health, do anyone have any experiences that they want to talk about tonight?
I have a few experiences for myself. I can say my mental health when I was younger was not the best. I could say it was very catastrophic, you might say. Being a person who was growing up in just a no-parent household, my older sister was just raising me. So, I had a lot of anger, especially playing football, I had my aggressions when football was over, took my aggressions out on the wrong thing, never talked about my problems at all. Like, I would hold everything in. Then my teachers and classmates asked, why are you so angry? Why are you so aggressive? This is not you. And I would say, leave me alone, speak in vocal language, act out, and then sometimes get into fights. And then, at one point, I tried to attempt suicide at one point, but and I saw how that brought an impact on my family and how they were concerned for me. So after that, went to therapy, and I can say, it made a significant difference at first, but then I, stopped, but then went back again 2 years later. And I feel like I've definitely grown, not grown, actually, you could say evolved more so. Because a lot of people, especially, people in the Black community are skeptical of having mental health issues. And I feel like that's what really is needed. I was skeptical by myself, don't get me wrong, but after I got that counseling, that therapy, I realized how much I have evolved spiritually as well, not even just emotionally, spiritually. And in return, it will come through physically as well, because it does have impact on your physique sometimes. Like, you can become like weak and stuff like that, not just physically, not also physically as well.
Elaborate on becoming weak. What do you mean?
Weak, not so much like you can't do nothing. Weak more so as in, like, let's say somebody who's naturally healthy, naturally fit, or just a natural person. Let's say this, right? Let's say, all right, they have a lot of issues mentally. They're not eating, they're not getting enough sleep. So that in turn messes with the physique as well. Like, they won't be able to walk straight, they won't be able to pick something up that they usually do. They can't even get up out of bed. Like, they'll become physically weak or exhausted to the point they can't really do nothing at all sometimes.
I agree with everything that you just said, and I thank you for sharing that experience with me. Especially since a lot of people do not talk about their mental health, especially Black men. I feel like that's the main problem in the Black community is that men are told to not show their emotions or express their feelings in ways because it might be deemed as feminine. I was raised in a household where my father felt as though like if you weren't facing adult problems, then you really didn't have mental health issues, or you really didn't have anything to be depressed, stressed, or anxious about. I really think that throughout my life, I've had mental health issues, but I was never like go to the doctor to be diagnosed or anything like that because I was told like they're gonna find you crazy. No offense to anyone, but it's just gonna be a bunch of white people diagnosing you with a notepad just sitting in front of you and treating you like a charity case. So I was trained to always put everything as far as my emotions and my feelings on the back burner to the point where everything just started to boil over and it just became too much. I feel as though that if you are going through mental health problems, especially as a student, no matter what grade you're in or anything, that you should seek help and that you should also not be scared to tell anybody what's going on, even if your parents are more traditional and do not agree with mental health issues. Therapy and different type of coping mechanisms, but holding it back and just holding it inside is going to make you more angry. It's going to make you more depressed, and it's just not helpful to you or anybody around you. So let's break them generational curses and let's just move forward in hell.
Well said, Mary. That's really
Thank
heavy
you. Really
because
said.
I know there are a lot of us who experience the same, thing in the household. Our parents overlooking our mental health issues because we're too young, and we basically don't have to say so. So I definitely understand that, and I encourage everyone to try to, go to a doctor or talk to someone that you trust because different things help different people, and the most important thing is to find what helps you, especially with your depression, anxiety, anything that you're feeling. Do not allow someone to tell you that what you are feeling is invalid because you matter. Everything you feel matter. Everything you think matter. So remember that. Now, how was your semester been? That was supposed to be my first question, but great.
Who wants to go first? I'll go first.
Ladies first.
My semester has been pretty busy. I always find myself just being outside of my room. The only time I'm really in my dorm room is to sleep. If my major ed girls are watching this, y'all got me tired. I'm over it. I'm exhausted. But I think that the most important thing is the fact that I stress mental health and mental health awareness, especially to my major ed girls, because I understand that doing a lot, having a club, running a club can be a lot sometimes, especially when you have a paper due at 11:59 and another one due the next day at the same time. So I'm gonna keep it short and simple a little bit. My semester has been pretty challenging, but I'm trying to work through it, especially since we only have a month left, really.
Dang. Well, my semester's been a little up and down. Not gonna lie. Trying to get everything up. Working 2 jobs right now. Helping coaching at Western High School. Football specifically. Just helping more players find the colleges that they need. Get their experiences. Some of them come to me for advice about what to do in college. And it's just I want to be able to practice what I preach. Because it's easier said than done. But also, the good that's happening is I got a good support system. I got a good resource. I got good energy people. Helping my priorities. That's all you really need sometimes. Like you actually need a group of friends that's like we can hang out, but let's get our work done first before we can do anything else. You know what I'm saying? So.
Can I add something to that? I apologize for cutting you off. The only thing I want to add to that is really just finding a group of friends that motivates you, and it's just not a partying situation, or it's just not a you're my friend when I just need somebody there. I think that that's what I really faced coming into college. Not to go on no long lecture or anything, but I feel like when I dived back into the college life, I was just looking for friendship in the wrong places. I mean, I was grieving my dad's death, and I just really felt as though I always needed to have fun, and I always needed to be around somebody to cause me happiness and to bring me joy and happiness. But if you're not happy within yourself, it don't matter what you do. It doesn't matter if you use drugs, alcohol, or anything. It's not going to mask the mental health issues you're facing is just a temporary relief. So if that is you and you're in a position where you feel as though you're in a one-sided friendship or anything, get out of that friendship. It might be lonely for a little bit. You might miss them, but you're not really missing them. You're missing the void that they felt with the untapped trauma. So once you tap into that trauma, I promise you it'll get 10 times better. That's all I want to add.
I'm really sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
And absolutely, Mary. Absolutely. Do not stay somewhere where you're not welcome. My grandmother always told me that. Don't ask to go somewhere where you're not invited, and don't stay nowhere where you're not
invited.
And it seems like you both are leaders on campus who are very supportive and encourage everyone around you to, at least follow the same path, review the things that you learned, or if not the same path, try to go down a helpful path. So I have a question for you guys, because we all know that we have the personal counseling here and we have many, many resources on campus. How do you feel about the college helping you guys and all of your experiences with grief, loss, depression, anything?
Well, I'd like to, shout out Miss Celeste Kelly and Paul Latour and staff in the Trio SSS building. They were a very great help from day one when I got here. I was struggling in classes, and Miss Kelly, she found me, brought me to Trio. Next, I started doing better in classes. I had a better semester the next, and she and they even recommend me to some counseling too. In my spring semester of 22, and I was doing good. After each Friday, talking to counselor. The next week, I was good. Great classes, and Paul, great writer, very great teacher, and I recommend definitely counseling for sure. It's a great resource for that. There's nothing wrong with talking about venting, letting you know, hey, I'm feeling this way. Just that's how you feel. You know what I'm saying? But resources is definitely great here for counseling. And like I said, I appreciate every staff member in Trio SSS.
As far as me, I did go to counseling in the fall of my semester here. So a couple of months ago, I was in counseling. Shout out to Ayana, Miss Fuller. She's a great counselor here. She's actually graduating with her master's this year, I believe. Don't correct me if I'm wrong, but shout out to Ayana. She's wonderful. But I was actually referred to the counseling center by my beautiful EOF counselor, Miss Erica Simon. So shout out to her and the EOF counselors as well. I mean, when I came in here in the summer, I started going to the EOF 5-week summer program about 2 to 3 weeks after my dad died. So it was kind of hard navigating that, but without Dr. Weaver, Miss Furman, Miss Ransdell, Mr. Terrell, and Miss Simon, I wouldn't even be here, because honestly, I was telling my EOF counselor, Miss Simon, that I didn't even know if I wanted to pursue schooling any longer, and I just wanted to take a break from education, just to grieve and get over everything. Because I mean, you go 19 years with that parent, and they're always there and stuff like that, and just to not have them there anymore was a great transition in my life. And also, I just didn't think that I would be able to mentally be able to get over that to the point where I would be able to just focus on my studies without having that in the back of my head the whole time. But my EOF counselors, they really helped me out, especially Dr. Weaver. I lean on them when I ever need trouble or have any problems. So if you are using the campus resources and you are in the TRIOS program or EOF program, that's a great way to stay involved on campus. And they also all take mental health very seriously. So I do recommend for everybody to try to be a part of it, especially if you meet the requirements.
Yes, absolutely. It seems like you have amazing support systems, and I am glad to have it, period. And also, I want to add that there is a CHAMPS program who also takes mental health very seriously. And there is also a mentorship network who also advocates for mental health, student involvement, things of that nature. And if you haven't heard of Foster Student Success, you can hear about it now. It's also a very great opportunity to network with people in your field, other students that are interested in the same things you're interested in, and of course, having someone to talk to. We love those types of things. Now, we all have our experiences with everything we just talked about right now. What are your techniques to at least deal with it? What do you do?
Well, me personally, I lean towards sports. I play semi-professional football, so that's great. Get something physical out. I go to the gym, lift the weight, do a little boxing here and there. But if I can't do any of those, I find a lonely space, do push-ups, or I read a book. I actually read a book. I'm reading a book called Bridging the Gap. I keep forgetting the author's name, but it's a very good book. Tells you how to get over. It actually talks about mental health, also getting up spiritually and financially. I highly recommend it to people. Actually, when I find the author's name, I'll let you all know. But
definitely started study group, reading club. Love it.
Hey, I'm good with books.
Really me, I like journaling. I feel like that's a really good technique. Especially since it just lets you get it all out without having to depend on another person to talk to. I don't know, I'm really heavy on trust issues. I just don't trust that whatever you say to me will stay between us forever, even if we get into a dispute. So I really just like to journal. I talk to my friends. I hang out with my friends. Shout out to my friends. I love y'all. And I just really, and I dive into my work. Like when I'm depressed or anything, I really dive into my work. And honestly, this is low key toxic. Y'all don't do this at home. But I low key feel like my best work gets done when I'm in that crunch time and when I'm in that zone, because it's like I block out the whole world and I just do what I gotta do and I just grind. So those are my coping mechanisms. And you can always buy you some new clothes, new shoes, new everything. Not always, but if it works for them, let it work for them.
Yeah, you're right.
I recommend black clothes.
So, I want to touch bases on what you said, Mary, about the trust issues. What's up with trust issues? I know a lot of us have them.
I have heavy trust issues, and that's just, I feel like it's more so from experience than anything. Like, it's not just in my thoughts, it's really because I've been crossed and I've been over. And I just really feel like that's where my trust issues come from. Like, it's a select few that I talk to. I really only got 5 or 6 good friends on an average Thursday, but I really think that my trust issues affect the way that I try to form new bonds. So I feel like that's something that I really had to overcome in order to grow new bonds. But all I'm going to say is, as far as trust issues, just go with your heart, go with your intuition. Your heart and your mind and your soul, they're just going to tell you when it's danger or somebody is bad for you before your eyes can ever tell you. So go with whatever you feel. If you feel like this person is bad for you and stuff like that, cut people off. I really feel like people are put on earth for certain phases in your life. Like who I was when I was 18 and is not who I am when I'm 20 right now, almost 21. So the same friends I had when I was 18, I kind of still have when I was 21, with a select few that I left behind. And that's only because, imagine if I was still friends with you, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. I don't feel like I would have been able to excel, because I would have been stuck in the repetition and the pattern that we had when we was friends. So I really feel like getting away from that connection and just trying to figure out who's real, like who's going to be there for your kids, God forbid you die. Who do you want at your wedding? Who do you want to take care of you on your last days? Like, who's there when nobody else is there when you need them the most? Because every friend could come to a party that you hosting, or every friend could come to the function that you hosting and you lit and you turn. But who's really there when it's just you and your ugly truth, honestly, so.
Well, for me, it's all about developing. I can't trust you off the bat. I mean, especially from my experiences, I used to trust way too quickly, and that would put me in a bad spot. And then the thing is, you can't let that past experience with the other person default the other person on trust, because you can trust one person but not trust the other one. So, and I can tell you, in my experiences, I do like a little scenario program, right? I like to call myself. So, it's a time where, I would make up it's stupid, but sometimes it's helpful. I would make up a fake scenario like, hey man, can I borrow a couple of dollars, and I give it right back to you tomorrow. Feel me? And if they give it to me, okay. I'd be like, oh, not here. I didn't really need it. Give it back. Or another scenario, right, where I wait to see who asks for money first, and to see who's actually gonna pay me back. Now that you might think is silly, but it's a process to see if I can trust you. Because one thing I don't play about is my family, my friends, or my money. That's just that.
Right.
So if you able to pay me back within the time you say you can pay me back, or even just give me some scrounges here and there, all right, I know you're good for it. Feel me? Like even if you ask for $20, all right, I need to get to work. All right, here you go. You don't want to pay me back. You're good. But however, you constantly keep asking, and then not even reciprocating the favor, I can't trust you because I can't trust you with getting $20 back. Who said I can trust you driving a car and not getting in a car crash? It's the little things that really matter too. You know what I'm saying?
Things that do matter, but say that's your technique to, see if someone's worthy of your trust. You give them money, or they ask for money, however the scenario go, and they come through, and like, okay, they're cool, but then you're starting to open up to this person. You're, bringing them into your life.
Yeah.
But they do something which you thought was trustworthy, and it's the whole opposite. So how would you go about that?
Still trial and error. It takes a couple of months for me. I give people 5 months before I give them my trust. It's a long time, but it's reasonable. It's just how it is. And you gotta understand, like, once you get somebody's trust, it's like they, especially see they understand boundaries as well. That's good. Trust and boundaries is a way big thing, especially now, because you gotta take your peace and your happiness at the end of the day. So that's how I feel like that should go. If they respect your trust, if you can get the trust and respect the boundaries, then that's a plus. That's all into it. But also, for me personally, I feel as though maybe in another aspect, it's just, sorry, I'm rambling right now. But no, in another aspect, I feel like if I can't open to you, I want to be like, I can tell you a deep, dark secret, and it does lead between me and you. But however, if you just go around spouting what I just said to you, like even if it was something little, then it's just like, all right, I can't trust you with information now. You know what I'm saying? Like I can talk to you about, I can tell you, oh dang man, I dropped my keys in the sewer, and then you tell me about like a joke, like, oh yeah, he dropped his keys in the sewer. I'm like, all right, now you just put my business out there. Now I can't trust you with that. I might have told you in the joking, but like I still between me and you.
Interesting perspective. You know what they say? To earn trust, you have to give trust. So we've all been talking about self and other people that we want to be in our circle. But in order to get someone else's trust, you have to be able to give trust to them. Because what if they have the same mindset as you? So it's like we're running around in circles because no one is taking that first step and putting the trust out there. How do you feel about that?
I want to add something. I'm sorry. I just feel like I was raised by my mom to treat people how I wanted to be treated. So I take friendships very seriously. Like I know people in our generation and our day and age doesn't take friendship seriously. But if I call you my friend, I don't use that word just lightly. If you're my friend, I got you as long as you got me. And that's what to say. It doesn't always have to be materialistic. It can just be the little things and stuff like that. For example, I just feel as though if I'm able to know that I'm going through some hard times or something, or I might be in my bed overthinking and stuff like that, and I'm able to just maybe come over to your house, or just we go somewhere, we sit down and have a talk, or you're just always there when I need you. And that's the main thing, because I feel like people have different perspectives on friendships. That's why you need to find friends that are like you and that have the same goals in mind as you. You cannot be striving, going to college, doing what you need to be doing, and hang out with somebody who parties every day, who just likes to indulge in drugs, sex, money, and alcohol. It's not going to click, because your mindsets, the maturity levels is two different things. I've been through that so much, where I just find friends who don't have the same goals as me, who don't have the same drive as me. They're not motivated. They just lack everything that I have. So it's like, you have to realize, is this friendship draining me, or am I adding to them and they're adding to me? It's like watering a plant. You have to water my plant the same way I'm watering yours. And if you're just leaving mine high and dry, then that means it's one-sided, and I need to leave that situation alone. So.
Well, there's also the scenario of crab in the bucket. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't, like, nobody can have that. You know what I'm saying? And if those of you who don't know, basically, you're the crab that's trying to get out, and there's a one that got you by the legs keep pulling you down.
Right.
And, like I like, I've had that in my past. So I mean, like, I had some guys that told me, go to the street, sell drugs. I grew up in Newark, New Jersey, so I'm like, that's not me. That's not me. I'm not a hood guy. I'm not trying to like stay on the corner. I want to do something in my life.
Right.
So I'm fighting for my job using football as an outlet to also get me to college. You know what I'm saying? I'm still smart, but at the same time, I know I can do more in my life. So I'm using that to get out. And when I got out, bam. So with these people, I had to cut the rope. But listen, it's nothing wrong with your gut telling you this person ain't good, or this person keeps putting you in situations where it's not only toxic but mentally draining. So you can tell straight, like me, I'm blunt. I told this one person, I cannot be friends with you. You bring too much drama in my life, and I am not about the drama. I'm not going to keep putting myself in a scenario where I got to argue with somebody or physically get, as people say, active with somebody. I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to do one thing, get my degree, get the fuck up out of Dodge. Steal my language. Sorry.
Well, okay, let's focus on the positive though, because it sounds like you both are leaders. You're like very involved on campus, very involved in your social life. So just as much as we experience things and we deal with it in a certain way, what if they also deal with their issues in that negative way? As someone who's wanting to be better and pursuing that path, would you encourage them to also do the same thing, and instead of just saying, hey, you're doing too much, I'm not doing it?
I want to just say something. First of all, you come first.
Absolutely.
So if you ever feel like maybe I can support you without that same friendship dynamic being there, then do that. But I think that would take two grown adults to sit down and have a conversation and assess if the friendship is worth saving. That's my main thing. Like, I feel as though I would try to communicate and I would try to talk to you, but I'm not your mother. I'm not your aunt. I'm not your grandmother. It's certain things I just can't do, and it's certain ways that people are raised. Like, we're not raised the same. We don't come from the same household. We don't have the same morals. So at the end of the day, okay, I can want you to succeed all day long. It doesn't have to be any beef. It doesn't have to be any animosity towards each other. I could walk past you with no hatred in my heart. But at the end of the day, I have to focus on what I need to do because this is my life. I can't more so focus on your perspective on things and your mental health, because it's like somebody stabbing you and then running away and be like, well, I'm sorry, I'm chronically depressed or something like that. It's like, okay, I understand that and I get that mental health is important, but you stabbed me. So how much more can you physically endure until, like you said earlier, it starts to take over your whole body and your whole physique and just everything that you have going on. You have to realize, like, that's the same thing when they tell you it's okay to leave your friends home and go out of state for college because you're in that new space and you're in that new thing. You could still love that friend back home. Y'all could still share memories and stuff like that. And also that goes to say, like, I can be friends with you and not be friends with you no more, but your memories still hold value in my life because the memories that we created will forever be imprinted because it was a part of my journey to where I am now. Your past is always the journey, but it's the past. Leave it there. That's just the way I feel about the situation. Thank you. I try. I'm not no philosopher or nothing, but I try a little bit. Yeah.
Well, first and foremost, I like to say when it comes to friends, or friends, relationships, anything, I would say that anybody that doesn't want nothing to do with you, they're doing you a favor. That's how I feel on that. That's one. But two, also, I feel like supporting your friends has to come with a limit. And it's also something that I'm not going to help you if you're not trying to help yourself. That's one thing. Like, I'm going to tell you, I tell all my friends, I'm going to lead you to the fountain. It's your choice to drink the water at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, it's like, you struggling? All right. Let's take some steps to help you build up. You actually building up? Okay, great. Now, since I see you at this point, I feel you can handle it by yourself. I'm back off, see what you do on your own. If you're progressing, I did what I did as a friend. But also, if you falling down, I'm going to pick you back up. But if you're not trying to still keep going, then that's on you at the end of the day. Because like you said, I'm not your parent. I'm here as your friend to support you. You gotta go through your journey on your own. We all gotta step on glass. We all gotta fight a tiger once in a while, but still, like,
a tiger.
It's just an exaggeration. Just exaggeration.
That was a metaphor, He just has a bag of them. He's pulling out metaphors one at a time.
But still, it's just like, that's the point of it. Like, we all have to go through our struggles sometimes on our own. We need a support, we need a kick in the backside sometimes. Like, this time, my best friend, she went off on me a couple of times about getting my stuff together. And I took it. I'm like, I got mad at her. I talked to her for like a good 2 days. I'm like, you know what? She right. The next thing you know, I started getting rolling, started progressing, not even just mentally, but just also financially too. And when she saw that, she was like, I'm proud of you. I'm like, I couldn't do without you. So that argument we got into, I appreciate it. Feel me? It's nothing wrong with telling your friends they on BS, get your stuff together, let's go. And there's nothing wrong with tough love. Feel me?
Right.
Like, we all need that once in a while. Yeah, I'm gonna hug you, but when it's time to like, yo, let's go. Feel me? That's
but can I add something to that too? I feel like the same way people hold their friends accountable, like you just said, I'm gonna look at the camera when I say this, hold your family members accountable too. Because a lot of people, I realize that a lot of people mental health issues start from inside their home and starts from the core. That's why they always say, even in school, like, it all starts at home. So if you're not getting that proper foundation, everything else from there up is going to be messed up because the foundation hasn't been set clear. Hold your family members accountable. I had to learn that, especially when my dad got sick, because his family was overstepping boundaries like crazy. Hold your family accountable. They might not like you. They might not talk to you, but who cares? I don't care. So you shouldn't care. I mean, I just feel as though I'm going to say what I want to say, how I want to say it, when I want to say it, the way I say it. And that's just the way it's going to always be with me, because of the simple fact that I feel like I missed out on a lot in my childhood, holding back because I didn't want to be seen as the disrespectful kid. But sometimes you got to be the disrespectful black sheep of anything. And that comes for family and friends, because I feel as though all day long we'd be like, cut off friends, cut off toxicity. It's toxic for you, just cut it off. But what we're not understanding is that family could be even more toxic because you're stuck in between. This is my family member. We share the same blood. We share the same bloodline. But the same way you feel about your friends, yes, I love you and I care about you, but if it starts harming me in any way, mentally or physically,
you gotta go.
I have to go. Yeah, you have to go.
You gotta go.
And I have to go too, because I'm going to just walk away from the situation. So that's just the way I feel. I feel like family members are not held accountable enough, especially older family members, because you're deemed as disrespectful and stuff like that. It's ways to get your point across without being disrespectful, but sometimes if you have to, you have to, period.
Yes, I absolutely agree on that, because growing up, like, I'm afraid to say no now. Like, I'm trying to just get into it and be more assertive, because growing up, if I was told to do something and I say no because I don't feel like I should do it, or it's just I'm not the type of person to do it, it's like, oh, you're so disrespectful, I'm your aunt, I'm your mom, I do this for you, I do that for you. So now at this big age, whenever I want to say no to someone, I'll be like, it's going to be feel like disrespectful. But now that I'm like getting into my own self, my individuality, I'm learning the power behind the word no, and that is not disrespectful at all, but I'm honoring myself and my choices and how I feel about the situation. So good job.
Yeah, I wanted to add on to what you said, Mary, because now what I've been told, right, I used to be the very sweetheart that everybody thinks, people think I'm a sweetheart, but no. No, I'm not. And it's not because I want to, it's because I need to. Because it's all about protecting myself at the end of the day. Like, I'm going to tell you, no, get away from me, or, like you said, or I don't like you. And I'm not saying I don't like you because I should like you. I have a reason not to like you, because you want to bring something negative into my little box of sunshine and rainbow. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm going to need that. Like, especially like when it comes to certain family members, I think I told, not to put his business, but one family member, I don't want you around me. I really don't want you around me, because every time you're around me, something happens. And I don't got time for that. So, extra stage left, have a nice day, go about your business at the end of the day. Say I love for you, like I love for you from a distance. I'm gonna protect me and what I gotta protect. And me and my me and my two sisters. I'm sorry. We all got a bond where we're gonna tell each other what it is, and it comes to that level of respect and love that we got for each other. Because I'm gonna argue with my sister, but at the end of the day, I know she's still in my back. At the end of the day, going back to who got your back in family. At the end of the day, I can argue with you the next day, but if a guy calls out her name, I'm gonna punch you in the mouth. Right. Call my sister out her name, like no, like that's not gonna slide. I don't get to do that. Disclaimer: I don't do that. Disclaimer: I don't do that. But it's the principle of it. So if you gotta cut off family, I say do it at the end of the day. If you gotta, there's nothing wrong with cut a family off too. Like
right.
Kick rocks.
All siblings fight. If you got siblings and you say y'all never fought, y'all liars or something wrong mentally.
Swear to God.
All siblings fight, especially when y'all close like that and y'all got like my siblings, even my dad used to tell us this, y'all are all y'all got. So that's why I really don't care. I would go longer with trying to mend a relationship with my siblings versus mend a relationship with anybody else, just because of the simple fact I have 3 siblings and I love them to death and they're like my best friends. Like my sister was my first best friend ever.
You also live with them too?
I live with them too.
You gotta see
from the jump. Yeah, from the jump. Like I've always lived with my siblings. We were never really apart, so it's always been just us. And especially when my dad died, it was always just us. And my mom, she's like the backup singer for us. I'm playing. But it was always just really us. Like, we're all we have at the end of the day. So that's different a little bit to me than aunts and uncles and cousins and stuff.
Yeah, I actually want to, just take from what you said. We all we got is universal. It's just not with your siblings and your family. It's your community as well. So if you're treating your community like they don't matter, then you're also doing the same to yourself because you grew up or you invest in this community. You have to learn from whatever phase of your life that you are currently in. So we all we got. So I'm just like promoting unity and compassion. So
no, that's important. Unity is important. I feel as though like when you stand as a united front, it's hard for others to come in and tell you what it is about, because like nobody could come to me and tell me something about my siblings. That's impossible. And that's also what I feel. I was actually talking to my friend today, and we were just telling each other, like, listen, if you do something wrong and I do something wrong, we're gonna check each other privately. But out into the public, we're a united front. Yeah. So if you do something wrong, I'll just sit there quiet or whatever, and then we come back. I'm like, you was wrong for that. All right, you need to check that. This is where you went wrong, X, Y, and Z. And I feel as though that's really important in our community because of the simple fact that tell them what they're doing wrong in private. I hate people who publicly try to shame people or who publicly try to embarrass others, especially when they look like you. Especially when they look like you. If they look like you, pull them to the side and be like, listen, you was wrong for this, you was wrong for that. But when you publicly embarrass them in front of everybody, I feel like that kind of gives an open opportunity for everybody to embarrass them in the same exact way. And that's not cool. So that's it.
Exactly. You have something to say?
Well, I wanted to speak more on something else. Speaking about what you said about how actually, no, I don't think I did. Actually, I think I was I'm so sorry.
It's like that. But definitely about holding people in their wrongs in private, because public humiliation is no one wants to go through that.
Right.
And then if you're showing people how to treat the people around you. So that's just again, another cycle. Never elevating out of it.
Another thing, I feel like that's when people put up defense.
Mm-hmm.
I would be more open to somebody if they come to me like, listen, Mary, okay, this is where you went wrong, X, Y, Z. I'm not telling you to talk to me like I'm a 5-year-old or anything like that. But I feel as though when somebody reacts to me with anger and yelling and stuff like that, I want to react with anger and yelling. So then we just start yelling, and then that's when insults fly, and it gets deeper than if you was to just pull me to the side and have that actual connection, especially if you're my friend. So that's the only thing, really.
Oh, speaking about accountability, I want to put this out here, and this is probably a different topic, but never play about your word to somebody. Like, don't make a promise you can't keep. Don't keep your word to nobody. Because me personally, this is gonna sound weird to y'all, but I explain this to everybody. I can't keep a promise, but I can give you my word.
Right.
Because here's the thing. To me, it's two different things. A promise is like, it's almost on the line to like, yeah, I promise I got you. Promise I'll do this. And I tell people, like, it's just coincidence. Like, if I say I promise, it's never gonna get done. I'd be like, I promise I'm gonna give you $15 tomorrow, or I promise I'm gonna give you $15, and they never do it. But I'd be like, I got you. Feel me? You got my word. That's all I gotta say in the boom. But y'all have to act on something that you're gonna do. So you really is taking accountability for yourself for anything. Taking accountability is the one great step of maturing and evolution to your better life in adulthood. Really, if you messed up, all right, just say I messed up. I apologize. I'm gonna fix it the best way I can. That is just it. And that's the standard that me and my sisters hold with each other. Like, I just say that hold to my friends as well. I tell them, like, hey, look, I messed up. I'm sorry. I got you. That's really just, and I feel like that's important with just anything, friendships, family, relationships in general. Like any relation, like with my counselor, Mr. Trev, shout out to him. I told him when he first got here, I had a very decent GPA. Okay, and I told him, like, he's like, well, you need to increase your GPA for next semester. I'm like, I got you, don't worry. And I had I had one B, two C's one semester when he first got here. It was okay, it could be better. Next semester, I got straight B pluses the next semester. He's like, you are a man of your word. I'm like, hey. And sometimes actions really speak louder than words.
Yeah, this goes back to the trust conversation that we had earlier.
Yes, it does.
See, when you were able to say, I'm going to do this, you just gave someone the ability to trust you because you kept your word. It's honorable. So I kind of like that. I'm very big on words. Like, say what you mean and mean what you say. Don't say something and not do it.
Right.
Because you lack a whole lot of things. But yeah.
So, but also, I do have a question for you, exactly, Mary. Okay.
No,
it's a
really good. Our first public interview, but go ahead.
No, it's just like a question, something like, how do you feel about? And she pointed out something to us that we're leaders. I mean, I know about myself, but I can tell you're a very good example.
Thank you.
Like, in the community, in your house, and I want to know exactly what standard do you hold yourself to? Because I'm hearing you sound very intelligent and very philosopher-like. You're not, but I'm saying, but so of course, you know what I'm saying. But like, what standard do you hold yourself, and what things you want to like put out there for people who like that you're trying to like set an example for, exactly, like.
I think that the place I hold myself, I always feel like I could do better. Mm-hmm. So I never feel like I'm doing my best, and that can be seen as maybe like self-doubting and stuff like that. But it's like, all right, you did this, but you could do it better and stuff like. And for an example, I just feel as though even with my club right now, the BC Majorettes, I always feel like it's something I'm not doing, which is why my girls will tell you I'm always texting them, I'm always calling them, I'll go to their dorm, we'll meet up in a den. It's whatever with me, but I always feel as though I need to do more. I always feel as though I have so many ideas running through my mind. So even like now, I can have like 10 ideas running through my mind. So I always feel like, all right, you need to do these 10 by a certain amount of time. That's another reason why coming back to school was so challenging for me, because I'm in a class with freshmen who are like 17, 18 straight out of high school. Meanwhile, I'm not. I graduated during COVID, and I had kind of failed the first time going to school. And I'm like, all right, maybe school isn't for you then, because college isn't for everybody. So I was looking at that option too, but then I was like, no, you could do it. And I have a niece. She's lovely. She's 12 years old, basically. And she watches my every move. So I feel the need to always do something bigger, do something better, because I don't want her to ever feel like, oh, I can't do something because my auntie didn't do something. I could do this because my auntie did that. That's what I want her to feel. Another thing about being a leader is sometimes I don't realize that it's okay to fail. Like every time I fail, I feel the need to beat myself up constantly. And I always feel like maybe it's too much, even with my family dynamic, with my siblings. I'm kind of like the leader of all of us, even though I'm not the oldest. So I always feel the need, like, if my siblings are not successful, I feel like it's because I didn't teach them how to be successful. So I kind of hold myself accountable in that way, which could be negative too.
Okay. And there's all right.
I love how you were able to, point like your, your weaknesses basically, and you're learning from them, and like this isn't okay because like it's going to contribute to how you feel about yourself in a negative aspect. So,
right. We always have bad days, though. Everybody has bad days. I feel like it's what you do the next day that really matters to me, because you can have a bad day. You can have a day where you feel like you didn't get enough accomplished, but the next day you just got to come forward with it, full force, and just do what you need to do. You know what you need to do. I really hope that everybody is getting onto that, especially with finals approaching. Just make sure that every day you're trying to do little things that can help you and that could develop your character.
Absolutely. Well, this was a great episode. How do you guys feel about the episode?
I like this microphone.
I feel like I got a few points out there, and shout out to Mr. Terrell, shout out to the entire trio at Success Building, shout out to my sisters, shout out to all my friends who helped me do it, and shout out to the Restaurant football program. But also, one thing I want to say before I end this, a quote I like to live by the rest of my life: if you're not yourself, you're nobody.
Wow, okay, I was just about to ask everyone if they want to have a quote.
Well, I didn't know you shout out everybody. Follow us on Instagram at BC_majorettes, MAJORETTES. Shout out to my majorette girls. They're actually practicing right now for the Spring Fest, April 28th. I cannot wait to see them perform. I know that they're going to kill it. My girls have been working so hard. We are collaborating with North Collegiate Academy, so shout out to North Collegiate Academy in North New Jersey, my hometown. And also shout out to their coach, Zanaya. She's phenomenal. She's the best. Shout out to you, Zanaya. And thank you, Latavia, for inviting me onto this. I really enjoyed this. Honestly, invite me to as many episodes as you
please.
I love talking.
Oh, also shout out to West Orange High School football team, and shout out to my home sis, cast and crew. Okay.
Well, I'm going to end the episode on a quote like I always do. But Jeff, you just was eating it up.
Nah. If anything, this is, hey, you're the reason why this is so amazing, honestly. So we should get a shout out to Latavia. Let's be honest here.
And before Latavia says the quote, shout out to my mom and my siblings. I love you guys. That's it. I try to be sweet to them. They're not as sweet to me, but right.
So I'm gonna end the episode off with this quote. Don't take criticism from someone you wouldn't take advice from. So, thank you so much for tuning in to What's Up with Mental Health and everything else. Hope to see you next week. We are introducing, give me a second, Audience Appreciation Month for April. So please be on the lookout for our Instagram posts and everything. I want to thank you guys for being interested in being on here and sharing your thoughts and experiences. It is very much appreciated. And I hope our audience learns something from you guys. And if they don't know you in person, I hope they want to get to know you now. So thank you so much.
Y'all can always come and try out for BC Majorettes if you want to see me. I'm always there. Yes, I got you.
Hey, you want to sis, let me know too.
Thank you.
Ooh. So before you shut it off, I'm about to just record for the Instagram page. Well, not, you can shut it off, but I just meant like,